Today we're going to do a map lesson on Egypt. It's called Unit 3 Egypt Map Lesson. So what I want you to do is take a piece of paper and I want you to title it Egypt Map Lesson. And right now, while we're thinking about it, put your name up here. So I'll put my name, Mr. Brady, period number, and you put the number in there, and today's date, which is 10/5/16. Okay, everybody do that now. Alright, everybody's got one of these cardinal directions and specialty maps. Now you should have your own paper, pencil, no pens, the student atlas, a textbook, and a blank North Africa map handout. Now I'm going to pass out the map handout and you're going to get colored pencils and crayons a little bit later. Alright? Now everything you do is on your own paper. Don't write in the student atlas. So the first thing we want to do is I want you to take 5 minutes and peruse through the entire Student World Atlas, and just like last time, list 5 observations that you can make about what maps can show by looking at different maps in the atlas. So on your paper, we're just going to put observations right here. Observations. Like that. And then you can number them as you go along. So I'm going to number 1 right here. I'm going to go over here to my map. And I'm just going to flop it open to a page right there. And I'm going to look at that page. And I'm going to see what that page is showing me. Over here, it shows me the key: farming, grazing, primary forest land, limited agricultural activity, and urban area. Okay? So I'm looking at the map. Oh, here's an interesting fact right here. Leading beef producing states. Texas, $5,039, but that's in millions of dollars. So that's going to be 5,039 million, because 5,000 million is 5 billion. So anyway, the fact is Texas produces more beef than any other state. So I'm going to write that down. Texas produces more beef than any other state. That's my first observation. I'm not going to skip lines because I didn't take more than one line. Number 2. Alright, I want you to take 5 minutes and find 4 more observations about anything at all about maps or the facts that you can find in this atlas. Go ahead and do that. Okay, and here's my 5 observations. I made an observation about Texas, Wyoming. The United States produces more energy than any other country in the world. The eastern half of the USA is more crowded than the western half of the USA. And the country of Brazil is larger than the United States of America. Alright, now we're ready to take a look at the next section. So the first step is to go to page 90 of the Student World Atlas and find Egypt. Now remember, stop at every period and do that step. So here we go. I'm going to go to page 90 of the World Atlas. And I'm going to find Egypt. There's page 90. And you can see Egypt pretty quickly. It's right here. Alright. So what's the next thing it says? What is the capital city of Egypt? Stop. Now let me get this. Okay, so we go back here and we look really close at Egypt, and capitals have stars next to them. And there it is, Cairo. So now on my paper, Zoom back out. I'm going to put map, let's see, map activity here, or map questions, like so. Number 1, Cairo, C-A-I-R-O, semicolon, because there's more questions. Okay? And there's a hint there. Oh no, sorry. What country is to the west of Egypt? Hint, use the compass rose in the lower middle of the map to see which direction west is. Alright, so I'm looking for the country to the west of Egypt. And if I look at the compass rose down here, I can see that west is to the left. So if you didn't know that, west is to the left. And there is, sorry, you can't see my arrow. Here's the compass rose, and west is to the left. Here's Egypt, and to the west is Libya. So I go back to my answer sheet, and I just write Libya, L, how do you spell Libya? L-I-L-I-B-Y-A, semicolon. Back to my answer, or my question sheet. Which country is to the south? Back to my map. Egypt, south is down, and that country is Sudan. Notice all the country names are printed in all caps. City names are printed in caps and lowercase, and capitals have stars next to them. So the country to the south is Sudan. Back to my answer sheet. Sudan, S-U-D-A-N, semicolon. Back to my question page. What body of water is to the north of Egypt? Okay, back to my map. Egypt, north is up, Mediterranean Sea. Back to my answer page. M-E-D, and let's spell this right. M-E-D, hold on, let me zoom out here so you can see both. Nope, you can't. There, M-E-D-I-T-E-R-R-A-N-E-A-N, Mediterranean Sea, S-E-A, semicolon. Okay, back to, so there we go, Mediterranean Sea. So far we got 1, 2, 3, 4 answers just for question number 1. We're not done yet. Rest of question number 1, what body is to the north? We got that. To the east. Now, I just said to the east, but I'm talking about the body of water to the east because I just got finished talking about a body of water. So, to the east, back to the map. Here's Egypt. Sorry, pencil. Here's Egypt. Going to the east, there it is, Red Sea. So back to my answer sheet. I'm out of space here. Notice the margin. I'm not going into margin. Red Sea. Alright, now we're going to go to number 2. Find the Nile River and follow it south until you get to the star next to Khartoum. Khartoum. Alright, so we go back to the map. There's our Nile River. So you just follow it south. Oops, you need a pencil. There's the Nile River. Follow it south, 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 south. There we go. There's the star that says Khartoum next to it. Alright, so now once we find Khartoum, then we're ready for the next step. So we go back to our chart. There are, right here, there are 2 rivers that meet in Khartoum. What 2 rivers come together to form the main Nile River? Alright, so now looking really close at the map, there's the 2 rivers. There it is, the Blue Nile, and what does that say? The White Nile. So we go back to our answer sheet. Let me zoom out so you can see my answer sheet. We put a number 2, and we write Blue Nile, semicolon, White Nile. Number 3. So now we go to number 3. Follow the Blue Nile. What lake in Ethiopia does the Blue Nile begin? All right, so we're going to follow the Blue Nile. Go back to our map. We're going to zoom in. This was the Blue Nile right here. This is the Blue Nile right here. So I follow this down into Ethiopia, follow it back up, and there we go. There's the lake. What's that say? Lake Tana. So we go back to our answer sheet. And for number 3, we write Lake Tana. T-A-N-A. Now let's see if that's the last question for number 3. Follow the Blue Nile. What? Yep, that's it. So number 3 is done. Number 4. Okay, number 4. Now, go back to Khartoum and follow the White Nile. What lake in Uganda does the White Nile begin from? Okay, back to Khartoum. Come on, zoom in. Here's Khartoum again. The White Nile goes down here. We're following the White Nile all the way into Uganda. And there is the lake. Is that the lake? Let's get closer. Ah, there we go. All the way into Uganda, and you can't really see it, but you're going to have to trust me. It goes to Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria. So we go back to our answer sheet, and we write Lake Victoria. That one would have been a hard one without the zooming. Okay, let's see, is that the end of number 4? Yep. Okay. Now look at the map on the top of page 92. What is being mapped on this map? Page 92. So before we even go on, we got to go to page 92. There's the map at the top. The question says, number 5, what is being mapped on this map? Okay, there's a question mark. For every question mark, you should have an answer, I think. So, what's on this map? Well, right here is your title, population. Here's the key, there's the title, there's the map, so population is being measured. So we go back here to our answer sheet, put number 5, population. Okay, back to the question sheet. Notice the dark strip in Egypt. According to the map key, how many people per square mile live in that strip of land? All right, let's go to the map again. Now that's the darkest color on the map. See that strip? Here's your key. Per square mile is over here, so that means over 520 people per square mile live in that strip of land. So we go back to our answer sheet, put a semicolon, and write over 500 people per square mile. Okay, back to our answer question sheet. Why do you think they all live there and nowhere else in Egypt? Well, you already looked at one map and you followed something through here, and look at that. This population strip even picks up again right here. What were we looking at? Well, it's the Nile River. So we're going to put a semicolon here and put people live along the Nile River. All right, number 6. Now, open your Ancient Civilizations textbook to page 87 and look at the ancient Egypt map closely. Okay, so now we're going to go to our textbook, page 87. Okay, so I have my textbook, and here's page 87. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see it. Okay, so now I'm ready for the next part of the question. And the next part of the question says, where were we? Compare that map to the map in the student atlas on page 90. Okay, so now we got to go back to page 90. It's right there. So now I got the two maps together. And what does it say? What two cities are located in the ancient kingdom of Kush? Now, what that means is I go here and I have to follow this map down here to Kush. And notice Kush is right above the Blue Nile and the White Nile. And that was where Khartoum is. So we go back to Khartoum. There's, oops, let me zoom in for you. There's the same curve of the river. And there's the two cities. So let's check it again. So Kush is there. All right, right there in between that curve of that river. So there they are. What two cities are those? That one and that one. So zooming in close, it looks like Karima and Atbara. So we go back to our answer sheet and we write down number 6, and we spell out, how did I spell that again? Karima, C-A-R-I-M-A, and Atbara, A-T-B-A-R-A. Karima and Atbara. All right, number 7. Now look at the land use. Now look at the land use and resources map on the bottom of page 93 in the Student World Atlas. Okay, before we even go to the rest of the question, we go to the Student World Atlas. We find the land use and resources map at the bottom of the page. And there it is. All right, so now I'm ready for the rest of the question. Look closely at Egypt. Why is there a strip of tan running through Egypt? Well, here's the strip of tan. And it says in the key that that color is commercial agriculture. So why do you suppose there is commercial agriculture along that strip? What do we know is in that strip? The Nile River. So we go back to our answer sheet, and we write number 7, because farming is all along the Nile River, or some sort of explanation like that. Farming is all along the Nile River. Okay, now we look at number 8. Now turn to page 94 in the Student World Atlas and look at the top. All right, from here on out, I want you to finish 8, 9, and 10 on your own. Okay? And then you will do the map activity with a blank Africa map, which I'll be passing out. Okay? So get started on that.